Welcome to Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, a game that I've been playing and want to talk about, have fun with, make fun of, and generally share my experience. So to do that, there will be spoilers for about half the game because that's how much I've played personally as of making this video. So continue only if you want spoilers. Cool? Cool. So, as you might guess from the cutscenes thus far, the game kicks off when a little guardian, henceforth dubbed Eggboy, travels into the past to help prevent the fall of Hyrule. This means it's basically an alternate timeline, which might rub some people the wrong way, but it means that things can get weird, and that's okay. The story that unfolds includes fighting through hordes of enemies using a large roster of characters. As far as I'm aware, there's a total of 18 different fighters, and so far, I've unlocked about 9 of them, so that's where we'll start. Good old Link. At first, just a simple knight, his insane power in battle makes him stand out to Princess Zelda, so she asks him to join the party as her personal bodyguard. With sword and board, he slashes, dashes, stabs, that sort of thing. You can hop on your shield during a combo for some extra damage, or by pressing the heavy attack button while sprinting for some good old mobility. His unique action, ZR, lets him pull out a bow and let loose a flurry of arrows. After recruiting the 4 Power Rangers and fighting through the Lost Woods, Link obtains the Master Sword, which, as one would hope, allows him to have beam attacks while at full health. This really steps things up, but it's not his only fighting style. You can also wield spears, which, thus far, I've only begun to dip into. Regardless, I have already witnessed just how anime-esque he can be with his 1 trillion stab specials. That said, by far my favorite playstyle with Link is two-handers. I was initially drawn to his ridiculous running heavy attack, which Swinkybox accurately described as being broken, but somehow that's not even the best part. With two-handers, pressing ZR does a strong attack so strong that it hurts the user, and pressing X while stationary lets him eat some food to heal that self-inflicted damage. That probably makes it sound like it's a good risk-reward system of picking and choosing when to unleash extra damage, but nah, none of that. It makes Link a big, strong boy.
It's over! Oh look, another bug for me to squat. Playtime's over. Here's a present for you. Die. You've done well to last this long, but your time is out. Is that it? It's useless.
Right after Link, we have Impa, Royal Advisor, Zelda's loyal friend, and resident distractible ninja. I've looked at the combo list, I swear, but as soon as I go into battle, I have no clue what's going on. Kunai are being thrown everywhere. Half the time she poofs away, leaving her hat just floating to the ground, and all I can think while using her shadow clone jutsu is, wow, I hope I'm allowed to compare it to Naruto because I can't not do that.
Hi, everybody!
Also, I should mention, everyone can use the 4 Sheikah runes that you've come to know from Breath of the Wild, like Stasis, Remote Bomb, Cryonis, and Magnesis. That said, each fighter uses them a little bit differently. With Cryonis, Impa can summon a block of ice and then ride it for a short while. Speaking of Sheikah runes, yeah, that's Zelda's whole moveset, at least until insert plot moment gives her new moves.
Is that?
Nothing, Link. We were just about to have a feast.
Great!
This is the ruin the Calamity will bring.
She uses the Sheikah Slate, so well that it does crazy things like summon a walking controllable remote bomb, launch crystal spikes, and so on. I'm not opposed to a character who's proficient in cell phone, but something about her moves just feel too disjointed to be enjoyed. Still, I do appreciate the creativity. Regardless of how they're used, the runes were bestowed to the group by our very own time-traveling, duding Eggboy. Like I said before, I haven't seen the whole game yet, but I really like Eggboy. He, or she, brings a fun, sort of whimsical element to the party. Eggboy isn't afraid to speak their mind and more often than not argues with Impa, which is really enjoyable. I also really like that moment when, in a rush to save Zelda, Link bonks Eggboy out of the way and he comes back with all the poise and charm and calm of an ancient wizard. When it comes to recruiting the Power Rangers, which is the first thing after the demo's content, I decided to start with Zora's Domain and work counterclockwise. That was a mistake. So the main issue is Zora's Domain, especially as it's presented in Mipha's opening mission. It made the game chug so hard, and the ever-present rain only increased the Switch's thirst. I know the Warrior games are no stranger to lag and frame drops, but it felt really bad here. As for Mipha the character, she's pretty okay. Like, lots of fun water effects and stuff, but the playstyle just isn't for me. I do like that near the end of her mission we get to save little kid Sidon. He's so cute, and already he's mastered that Sidon smile at such a young age. But, wait. How old is Sidon? Like in Breath of the Wild, he looks like he's in his 20s or something, but he's actually over 100 years old. So is Mipha over 100 years old? What is the lifespan of a Zora?
Oh, no. I was just...
So after recruiting Mipha, she hops into her Megazord of a divine beast and you get to kill thousands of baddies using the power of...
I'm Elephant the Elephant!
Each of the 4 champions have their own piloting missions, and they're not bad, but they're also not that great. Thankfully, there's not many of them, so I don't mind the inclusion. Daruk is similar to Mipha in a lot of ways. The lower frame rate area, a moveset that I don't love. I feel like his attacks are, again, disjointed. Not as bad as Zelda, but Daruk's attacks don't feel like they connect very well. I do like the fact that his dash attack has him leap high into the air and crash down, which is so abrupt and weirdly animated that I legitimately thought the game glitched out the first time I accidentally did it. So, if I press this... What the hell was that? Did I fly into the air? Still, he's a fun character, and adds a nice strong energy to the group dynamic.
You really proved yourself, hey little guy!
Unlike the fire and water missions before this one has Team Link fighting through Rito forces because Rivali thinks we're invading. Really, I think Falco just wanted an excuse to show off his skills because we face off against him at the end of the mission where I stomped him and then, oh, the cutscene starts and suddenly he has the upper hand. At least it looked good for the trailer. Hey, did you know that if you subscribe right now, you will have subscribed? Try it at home, see if it works.
Nothing personnel, kid.
As for actually playing as the hotshot pilot Lombardi, I'm torn. He has a lot of cool attacks. He goes pew pew and stuff explodes, but so his unique action is to take flight, which has him fly like 10 feet off the ground, allowing for an alternate moveset. It's not bad, but it's also not great. So I haven't mentioned yet, but the game has a really bad camera, and it only gets worse here. The game can't really decide where to focus. Is it on Rivali as he's in the air, as if he's on the ground, the enemy's height? You know what, just how about all of them at the same time? Also, partly because of that, it's sorta hard to tell what stance he's in half the time. Like, are you in the grounded stance, but just in the air? Or in flight stance, which doesn't look too dissimilar, and you're basically at the same height. Those rough spots aside, I do enjoy playing as Rivali, even if he reminds me of Shadow the Hedgehog.
For what purpose do I exist?
Anyways, the 4th and final champion I recruited was Urbosa, which happens to have the most plot-relevant missions. We start by fighting through Gerudo forces to confront Urbosa, who's treating Team Link as enemies. But this time it actually has a reason, because it turns out Urbosa was actually Master Koga in disguise, the leader of Yiga Clan. The real Urbosa is obviously on our side, and she's by far my favorite champion. Her unique action is to charge up her lightning meter. That meter represents how many volts she has available to dish out using her strong attacks. Those attacks, of course, expend part of the meter, but at the end of a combo, you can see the lightning residue burst out. If you time it right, tapping ZR lets you refill the meter using that residual lightning. The more you fight while timing your charging, the more damage you can put out. It makes for a really satisfying combat loop. Also, when you build up to it, her weak point attacks and special refill the gauge completely, so it's actually optimal to use as much zappiness as possible. Along with this, her animations are very satisfyingly powerful. It's good stuff all around. In the following missions, Team Link is introduced more properly to the current main antagonist in the form of the Yiga clan. So Master Koga's right-hand man is a more serious and aggressive ninja called Suga, both of which are working under a brand new character. He remains unnamed for a time, but the Dark and Brooding is called Astor, and his evil Eggboy is possessed by the spirit of Calamity Ganon. It's very spooky. In the mission to free Korok Forest of its invaders, we learn that Astor can summon spooky clones of the champions called Hollows. This made me really want to make some kind of Dark Souls joke, but I got nothing, so yeah. Still, it's also during the mission that we get the goofiest fighter yet, Hetsu the Korok.
Finally! Somebody sees me! Shakalaka!
It's so weird hearing him speak, but it's also a lot of fun. As you can see, Hetsu fights with the power of music. Also minions, but not like the meme, like he's a sort of summoner type fighter. It's, at least for me, not that much fun, but watching him at work is a joy. Now there's just one fighter left that I want to talk about, but first I should probably talk about what happens outside of missions and cutscenes. So in the first Hyrule Warriors game, the missions, accompanying locations, and overall story felt super contrived, uncohesive, something like that. In this one, everything is done with a giant map of Hyrule. There's main missions, side missions, and little quests that reward you with some kind of bonus via the right materials. It adds just enough context and substance to everything that I actually want to keep playing, which is obviously a very good thing. It was after unlocking Hetsu and seeing the various objectives that I noticed there were 3 Great Fairy challenges. Each had me collecting rupees, which would be delivered to a Great Fairy, and then it's time to show our worth by fighting said Great Fairy. These fights were honestly the most challenging thing thus far, and I actually had to use my shielding ability. It's crazy, I know. After those 3 challenges were done, and then the 4th was unlocked and then done, the Great Fairies joined the battle. Yeah, fairies, plural. In battle, all 4 Great Fairies share the same bud, and oh my god, it's so ridiculous. The Great Fairies are so much bigger than any other fighter that the camera has them almost always transparent because otherwise it'd be impossible to see past them. Also, I don't think that's how a flower bud filled with water and fairies should move, but it does. It looks weird, and it's goofy and strange, which honestly makes me enjoy this game even more. Sure, it has some serious well-done moments, but I'm here to have fun. I would prefer if the game had better optimized performance, but it works well enough to deliver on some destructive action. I want to keep playing to unlock more combos for the fighters I enjoy, and I want to see what the game has for fighters I've yet to see. This video isn't a review, but I will say that this game gets like a neat out of 10 for me. Thanks to my channel members for their support, with a champion-sized thanks to Christy Cuntras, Pseudonymous, Jermanger, Achilles Rhodes, and Skylar Clark for being super fans. If you enjoyed this video and want to see a follow-up for the rest of the game, let me know in the comments below. Also, for more goofy videos including myself and others, check out Minus World, a collaborative channel I'm a part of, which has some really fun videos. I really like the Mario Party ones, but yeah, that's about it. I'll see you in the next video.